Hey guys, I'm back with another Longplay review, and it's movie license time with Stallone Cobra on the Amstrad CPC from Ocean Software. Released in, this version was released in 1987, and then it was released 2 or 3 years later on the Hit Squad budget label, as you can see here. The movie itself was released in 1986, obviously starring Sylvester Stallone. Crime is a disease, meet the cure, and the movie was pretty pants. I'll come on to that again in a minute. So let's load this up. Nice loading screen. And basically, guys, the game starts straight away. There's no title screen and you just thrust straight into the action. Bit strange. But as you can see, guys, I'm controlling Cobra, or Sylvester Stallone there. And we're jumping up and down, moving left and right in a sort of run and gun type game. Shooting bad guys, shooting dive bombing ducks. Shooting things in windows and picking up guns. So I've got the laser-sighted submachine gun that you saw on the box art and movie poster a few seconds ago. And there's basically 8 levels in this game. And really the point of each level is just basically shoot as many guys as possible, and I think it's hard to know when it's actually end of the level, because if you just keep moving right or left, basically you just warp around and wrap around, and there's no sort of ending to the level. It just wraps around, so it's kind of strange to know when actually you reach the end of the level, or if you're close to the end of the level. And I think it's done on the score, guys. So when you reach a certain score and points on a level, you'll move on to the next. And I think it's around 8,000 points for the first level. There you go. That's another neighbourhood cleaned up. Get ready for the next one. So level 2. So yeah, first of all, the movie itself, released in 1986. Starring Sylvester Stallone and Bridget Nielsen. They were married at the time. And originally, Stallone was signed on to play the lead in Beverly Hills Cop, believe it or not. And he actually had a bit of a hand in the screenplay, and sort of added a lot more sort of action into it rather than the comedy. But it looked like the movie was going to be too expensive, so they dropped it, and eventually Eddie Murphy got the role, thank God, in Beverly Hills Cop. And this screenplay sort of went on to become Cobra, which itself was based on a book. And it's a really poor run-of-the-mill renegade cop that doesn't play by the rules action movie. You've seen so many like it over time. And the 80s was the decade for these kind of movies, and people seem to accept and like them. But even at the time, Cobra looked really run-of-the-mill and got appalling reviews, but still made quite a bit of money at the box office, I remember. But yeah, Stallone had a good run with the Rocky movies, and then of course Rambo 2 was directed by the same guy who directed Cobra, George P. Cosmatos. And I think this was probably Stallone's attempt to sort of like try and get a line of movies in the Dirty Harry style to complement his like Rambo movies, and he wasn't very successful. It was pretty mundane stuff, really. Relatively violent. So this is level 3, and yeah, following the plot of the movie, you play Marion Cobretti, aka Cobra. He's a sort of a burnt out cop and is part of the zombie squad in the police force. And basically there's a gang of nasty criminals led by the evil Night, is it Night Slasher? I believe it is the Night Slasher. A stupid name, yeah, Night Slasher. Who's out to basically capture a model called Ingrid, played by Bridget Nielsen in the movie. And basically, we're on level 3 here, and at some point in this level, Ingrid, the model, will appear, and we've basically got to protect her from the Night Slasher. And then we just got to keep it going through to the 8th level. Kill the Night Slasher when he appears. I think he basically appears on levels 6, 7 and 8. And I think we should be coming up to Ingrid shortly. Collecting hamburgers either replenishes your ammo or gives you a weapon if you don't have it. Oh, there you go. There's Ingrid the model. So we've basically sort of picked her up now, and she'll follow us at the bottom of the screen and move when we move. She can't get killed by any of the enemies with their guns, rockets, or knives. But on, as I said, on levels 6, 7, and 8, the Night Slasher starts appearing, and he will make a beeline for her and start beating her up and eventually kill her. And if she dies, you die as well. So yeah, you start with 3 lives, and you get an extra life for every 10,000 points. So for the first 5 or 6 levels, guys, I'm going to try and do each level without losing a life, and stack up loads and loads of sort of spare lives. Because once the Night Slasher starts appearing on level 6 onwards, it gets absolutely rock hard, and you've got to basically stick to the bottom of the screen, otherwise Ingrid will die. And basically you're just easily susceptible to like bullets and rockets and knives. There you go. So on to level 4. I haven't really talked much about the game. It's going to be a relatively short video. As you can see, as I mentioned already, it's kind of a run and gun game, and it kind of looks and scrolls rather nicely. Good colourful graphics and sprites, if a little bit blocky. There's a fair amount of detail as well. This isn't too bad for sort of 1986 and 1987. And it's probably one of the better movie licenses from Ocean around this time. Around about 1986, 1987, Ocean started picking up lots of movie and TV licenses. Let's have a look at a few of them. Highlander, Knight Rider, Miami Vice, Rambo First Blood. Rambo Part 2, I think it is. Yeah, First Blood. Short Circuit, Street Hawk, that no one's ever heard of, Top Gun as well. And they were all rather sort of average games, really. Some of them notoriously bad, like Street Hawk and Highlander. It wasn't until about a year or two later when Gary Bracey had sort of joined Ocean and had a real impact on them as the boss there. He picked up movie licenses like RoboCop, Untouchables, Batman and all that, and that's when Ocean really turned a corner for me. This is probably one of the better movie licenses of that sort of 1986, 1987 period, but it's still not very good at all. What I don't like about this game is sort of the it's kind of stodgy controls. They're not very responsive, and they can prove rather awkward. Just trying to change directions sometimes and shoot is a bit of an annoyance. Now the Spectrum version of Cobra is an absolute classic on the Spectrum. It's absolutely fantastic and really fun game. I really urge you guys to go and check out the Spectrum version of Cobra on YouTube to see what I'm talking about. It was programmed by Jonathan Joffa Smith, who sadly passed away a year or two ago, and it was an absolutely crazy game with a really funny sense of humour throughout. Like for example, you could like redefine the keys, and like for the 5 button it was renamed the murder key. And in game there's like rubber ducks represented your ammo level. The Rocky theme played throughout. Well, when you started the level, women with prams like attacked you. There was like birds and ducks flying at you. Yeah, and just loads and loads of crazy stuff like hamburgers revealed sort of weapon pickups and stuff. Now, weirdly, some of that sort of strange, irrelevant humour has sort of made its way across to the Amstrad version, but it's not done very well. I mean, basically we've got the dive bombing ducks, we've got the hamburger pickups, we've got the boxing gloves that represent your lives. Obviously, sort of a homage and piss take of Rocky that Stallone was in. I mean, we've got guys committing suicide and hanging themselves in windows. I mean, what's that about? If they're going to sort of try to inject humour into the game, then if you're going to do that, you need to go all out and just make it as silly as possible, like the Spectrum version and what Joffa did on that. Just adding a few token sort of bits of humour like these dive bombing ducks, and not really following it through with more. It just makes the game look really stupid and crap, in my opinion. You either go all out with the silly humour or not at all. There's no middle ground really, and especially like there is an ending to this game, and the message you're greeted with is just really stupid. And it's really bizarre where you've got like sort of, is that prostitutes on the street there? You can shoot and kill them, and you got people sort of hanging themselves in windows. It's sort of that sort of dark humour really. It's doesn't mix well with the silliness of like, you know, dive bombing ducks and hamburgers and boxing gloves and things like that. Just yeah, no, I don't think that's particularly good or particularly clever. But it's quite a frustrating game really. For example, you can't, if you're on the same level as a bad guy with a gun, you can't duck and avoid the bullets. You can hardly jump over them. You just have to try and jump up to another level. But the guys with rockets, you can duck under them. So it becomes a bit of a sort of a frustrating chore most of this game. And I guess if you're careful and take your time, at least up to level 6, then you'll get through okay. And there's plenty of lives to pick up with the score changing. When you get extra 10,000 points, you get an extra life, so you can rack up quite a few spare, like I've done. But it's still really quite annoying, frustrating. It took me a lot of goes to try and get through to level 6 without losing a life. I don't know why I really bothered doing that. Perhaps I'm trying to show off or something, but but yeah. So yeah, nice sound effects, you know, shooting and explosion noises and bleeps and stuff here and there. But that music, it sounds good to start with, but it just repeats over and over and gets really annoying really quickly. The music on the Commodore 64 version was really good though, if I remember correctly. But the Commodore 64 version was also pretty poor. but I'm not sure which is worse, the Commodore 64 version or the Amstrad. Certainly the Spectrum version is the best, and an absolute classic for the Spectrum. And basically, guys, you don't have to keep moving. You can sort of stay in one position. So you can find yourself a nice little ledge like I've done here, and just sort of stand there. The guys below you with like knives and bullets won't be able to hit you, so you can just jump down and shoot them in the back. When the rocket launcher guys appears, then you need to jump down very quickly and start ducking. Oh yeah, I suppose you've got 3 different weapons. You've got knives there, different animation for that as well, compared to your gun. There we go. Right, on to level 6, and this is where things start heating up a little bit, because the Night Slasher, I think it's the Night Slasher. I'm gonna declare him the Night Slasher, which is like the evil bad guy in the film. He will start appearing now. He'll be a guy in green that will only appear in the bottom section of the screen and game, and we'll be going after Ingrid, the model there we're protecting. Actually, I'm running a bit of a risk here staying on the top section, but I just want to rack up some easy points by shooting the guys in the windows. Those ducks are really annoying. You can duck them actually. Duck the ducks. The best way to defeat them is quickly switch your weapon to just so you got fists, so you got no weapon, and jump up and keep the fire button held. And you're pretty much guaranteed to kill the duck before it knocks some energy off you. Now, yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that you do have like a few points of energy before you lose a life, so you can take a few hits. If you get hit by one of the rockets, it takes about 2. I reckon it takes about 2 hits off you. A bullet, knife, or contact with one of the ducks takes about 1 hit off you. And I think you've got roughly sort of 4 or 6 hits you can take before you die and lose a life. Oh, there's the Night Slasher. Quickly jump down there. And there he is, he reappears. So that's him in green there, and he's making a beeline straight to Ingrid the model. And if he gets right close to her, he'll start basically stabbing or punching her. Your score will start decreasing down, and if he gets enough hits on Ingrid, then she dies and then you die. The annoying thing is, because you need to get a certain amount of score before you move to the next level, so you've got to stop him at all costs getting anywhere near her, because then the level just it will take you even longer to complete the level with your score depleted. So he's starting to appear now quite regularly, so I'm just sticking to this sort of platform here. Hey, there we go. On to the penultimate level, level 7. This has got more levels than the Spectrum version, which had 3 levels, but at least the background's kind of changed. The background stayed the same in the Amstrad version throughout all levels. It's quite a long playing area, to be fair. So you just basically start in a different location each time. And I think the Commodore 64 version is just one long complete level. Just continuously scrolls until the end, and apparently not too hard to complete. But there's some nice touches, on the levels on the Amstrad version. Windows that open. There's also garage doors that open that will reveal a car and either a bad guy or a friendly pedestrian that waves at you. Oh, Night Slasher. There's neon signs for clubs like the Snake Pit that flash. Bad guys hidden in bins that suddenly pop out. So there's a couple of nice touches here and there. bloody duck. So there you go, there's my first life lost, and I couldn't be arsed to start all over again to try and do it on one life. So we're just going to sort of blunder through now. We've probably got 10 extra lives from, because we're on about 100,000 points. Plus the 3 lives we started with, so we're on about 13 lives and now 12 lives. So we've got plenty of lives now to get through this. There you go, flash of the blue border there, that means, and score going into 110,000 means we've got another bonus life. Good stuff. You really don't want to take any hits on those rocket men though. I'm near enough dead from on this current life now. So I'm playing it cautious now on these next 2 levels. I don't want to let the Night Slasher anywhere near Ingrid. As to the programme of this game, I have absolutely no idea who programmed this for Ocean. It's not listed on the box in the instructions, nowhere in the game. Well, there's no title screen or anything like that. So I don't know who's programmed this. Perhaps they didn't want the credit. It's certainly not a very good game, but it's not terrible. I've seen far worse. And it sort of plays an okay run and gun game that might give you a bit of distraction for I don't know, half an hour before you get bored of it. So before we reach the final level, I think I'm going to sort of give this a score. I'm going to give this a very distinctly average 6 out of 10, I think. Yeah. I think a 6 out of 10. And here we are, guys, this is the final level. So in summary, I quite like the graphics. The graphics are okay for the time. Some nicely designed levels and backdrops. Sprites are okay. Good range of enemies and weapons to use, I suppose. So pretty basic stuff. Sound effects are pretty good. Whoa, Night Slasher! I'm punching him, blocking his path, and eventually he'll go. That was lucky. It's a good example of him homing in on Ingrid there, and me just about getting in the way. But yeah, as I was saying, decent sound effects. Music sounds okay for the first like 20 seconds, and you realise it's just looping through continuously. Ah! That was close. You got a few punches or stab attacks on poor Ingrid there, but she survived, thank God. So yeah, that music's really annoying. And you have no option to turn it off. There's no title screen, remember? Can't even redefine the keys. Scroll's okay, not the best scrolling I've ever seen. But at least it's not flick screen scrolling, thank God. But yeah, I think a 6 out of 10 is sort of fair overall. I may even be a bit generous giving it that, but well, I've seen a far worse. And this was kind of, once you get the hang of it, it was kind of fun for half an hour. And I really like run and gun type games, like Gryzor, Green Beret, and things like that, Robocop. In fact, I've been playing a lot of Robocop recently, both the Amstrad and arcade versions. I might actually do an arcade long play of Robocop. And it just got me thinking about run and gun games on the Amstrad. very few of them. This is one I hadn't looked at, so this is why I'm doing Cobra. Of course there's Gryzor, Robocop, Astro Marine Corps, Green Beret, a few cheapy budget titles, but I'm trying to think of any other good decent run and gun games I ought to have a look at. We'll see. Anyway, we're not far off completing this now. I think we're very close to the score target for this final level. So yeah guys, ending's coming up shortly. Thanks for watching. 6 out of 10 from me. And well, I hope you enjoyed this video. There we go. Well, dang my poons, you did it. Are you kidding me? That's the ending message. And just a small cutscene as well. Ingrid runs to Cobra, Mr. Sylvester Stallone, and then just stands there doing nothing. And that's it. That's all there is. And that's the ending. So again, thanks for watching guys. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Cheers. Bye.